Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out podcast. We've been waiting to share this with you guys for weeks now. Back in May, I went to Hawkins Comic Con and we talked to someone I never thought we'd cross paths with, but we did. If you grew up in the 80s and you've been falling down the YouTube rabbit hole with cult classic Kung Fu movies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Picture San Francisco, Chinatown, and a trucker named Jack Burton, who has no business being a hero of this story. And three terrifying sorcerers crackling with element powers, led by a guy that could summon literal lightning out of his bare hands. That's right, I got to speak to the one and only Lightning himself from John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China, Mr. James Pax. This man's resume is insane. He threw hands with Chuck Norris in Invasion USA, shared a screen with Charles Bronson, starred opposite Michelle Yeoh in The Heroic Trio, Kung Fu master, former ballet dancer, trained singer, and get this, walked the runway for Giorgio Armani. And now 40 years later, Big Trouble in Little China hits theaters. James is on a massive global reunion tour, meeting fans literally tattooed with his characters on their bodies and gearing up to direct his own action franchise. Settle in because James Pax is about to take us behind the hat, behind the lightning, and get into the wildest career in action cinema. James, thank you so much for your time, dude. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Guys, remember, click like, subscribe, it helps the channel. Comment below as well. And if you guys have any questions, do drop it down in the comments. One love. Peace. Hi, I'm Kibbs.
And I'm G-Man.
I'm all about art, comics, and movies.
I'm passionate about martial arts, comics, and movies.
And we're the Brothers Geek Out podcast. Join us every fortnight while we dive into the world of pop culture, from movies, gaming, TV shows, and comics.
Real world issues, mental health, and everything geeky in between.
So if you're ready to geek out with us,
hit play to join the conversation.
This is the Brothers Geek Out podcast. Welcome to the Brothers Geek Out podcast. We have an amazing guest with us today. The legacy of this character and this actor himself is absolutely amazing. As you can see from the background, we've got James Pax here, probably one of the most iconic villains from the 80s. And 40 years on, this legacy still continues. James, how you doing?
Very well. You are very right. It's the 40th anniversary of Big Trouble in Little China. And we have to say thank to Richard, who flew me here all the way from Los Angeles to be here for the weekend event at the Hawker.
James, this character has carried this legacy for almost 40 years now, but you've done a massive catalogue of movies. And just to tell the listeners and the viewers, you've been in front of the screen. You're going to be going behind the screen directing now.
That's right.
How is that feeling, that fear, the excitement? How is that like at the moment?
Well, I like to share my experience of being an actor. You know, whether you are a stage or you are a live action actor in front of the camera, you really enjoy the time of rehearsal, especially on stage acting, interacting with other actors. But on live action movie, you know, you have very short time of rehearsal. And most of the time you probably only rehearse it once, exchanging the line, and then the director will say, okay, let's go into the real one. And then camera, we have to perform. Probably within 3 to 5 takes, okay, next angle, you know, real fast. But then when I got older, I have begun to think about what I want to do with my career, whether do I want to be just an actor being directed and being told what the story is about, or do I want to be the creator, that I will be the storyteller and I will be the one to pen it. So in the last 20 some odd years, I have reinvented myself actually, and learned how to write on my own from a totally incapable writer, I would say, to become a professional writer and a professional storyteller.
Amazing.
And what happened was, when I was living in China, I began to write Chinese novel.
That's very cool.
And then by the early 2000, I had published my Chinese novel called A Bowl of Fish, which didn't win any awards, but it sold quite a bit of copy, and then it's on internet with millions of Chinese audience reading it. And then all that time I was writing Chinese script and also beginning to attempt to write English script. And by the 2006, I began to make the movie called The First Emperor, and it was financed by Discovery USA and Channel 4 UK. And on 2006, it got aired on Channel 4 UK and got 18% rating. And now this movie, The First Emperor, it's called Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi, has been on the YouTube for a long time, and over 5 million people have seen it, and they call it one of the best docudrama ever made. Can you imagine? Out
Nice.
of all the documentary you see on Netflix, they said this is better than any of those. And I have to agree with them. The quality is first class. The content is first class because it's based on historical figure and a real historical event and reinvented in actual live action scenes. You see me as the emperor, conquering the whole entire China and killing all my opponents and all of that. It's a brutal fight, and you see that right in the first scene, and it looked incredible. And then after that, we begin to tell his life story when he was just 16 years old. So in a way, to be a director, to be a producer, easier to be a producer, but to be a director and a writer, you really need to get into the character's brain and see how they function and talk about relationship between the characters, just like relationship between me and others.
Yeah.
And when you understand that and you can write it out and you can structure it in such a way that each character interact with each other and creating conflict, then you might have a good script to tell.
Good on you. That's absolutely amazing. I'm super excited to see this project, and still overwhelmed with you being here in the UK, and I'm looking forward to seeing you much more in the UK as well. With this character as well, with Lightning and Big Trouble in Little China, and working with Kurt Russell, a movie that was not really a big, massive movie when it came to the box office, but a cult classic with people that's carried on. Like for me, my friends, we used to play these characters in the playground to now be video games that were based on the character as well. And people having tattoos on them and comic books. How has that legacy kind of flowed through you?
Well, first of all, we have to thank, and I should say I have to thank all the fans around the world that really take this movie and the Three Storm character into their own life while they're growing up. And I'm honored to be part of the Three Storm as the Lightning. And this is the 80s movie, and it's the beauty of the 80s movie making, I must say, which nowadays cannot be compared.
Nope.
Because nowadays, everything is green screen. You can shoot it in a 10 by 10, feet studio. But this movie is made in 10 different studio that is big as a aircraft carrier. And everything, the sets are built with single nail and the woods.
Amazing.
With carpenters, sewing, painting, decorating, and all of that. That's the beauty of this movie. That's why it lasts until today, 40 years after, still calling it the classic action movie ever made. And this is the first ever Hollywood-made kung fu action movie back in the 86.
Yeah.
It actually came after Bruce Lee passed away.
That's right.
Because Bruce Lee passed away and there was a long gap. There wasn't any kind of Asian superhero came after that. But 20th Century Fox took the helm and gave it to John Carpenter, a genius director, I call him.
Genius.
To make this movie as it is. When I read the script, I said, yeah, it's a pretty good script. It's pretty interesting. But I didn't know when it come out on the big screen, when it's all shot and edited, and it looks so incredible and so funny. When you hear the lines, becomes like a classic today. They call it the funny lines, one-liner they call them.
That's right.
When I read it, I didn't think of it as one-liner. I said, oh, that's the dialogue. Oh, okay, I understand. Never thought that it's going to become a classic and the one-liner classic. So in a way, it really taught me how to be a script writer myself, that the line should be succinct, to the point, and if you want to make it funny, you got to learn a way of how to make it funny, whether you want it to be a physical comedy or simply just a dark comedy or something like that, you know? And it's really a lesson for myself as an actor to become a writer and then to be a director, because it really brings me back to the memory of me seeing how John direct everything, and he's such a detailed director, I have to say. That's why Big Trouble has become a classic after 40 years, and it will still be classic for another 100 years.
100%, 100%, 100%. Just to touch a bit on your background, because I read that you sang in Rome.
Yes, can you imagine?
Yeah.
You know, I have been multi-talented since I was
You have been?
a kid. By 8 years old, I was already learning classical piano.
Amazing.
And by, I would say, 15 years old, I moved from Hong Kong to New York and went on to New Jersey to study high school.
Cool.
And from high school on, I picked up a guitar and I started to learn how to pick and strum the guitar and start to compose, because my music teacher in the high school was so brilliant and he taught me about the theory and everything else. So I began to learn how to write songs.
That's amazing.
And by the time I graduated from college, I spent about 6 months in Rome, roaming around as a nobody and just showing my guitar and singing on the street corner or in the restaurant.
Amazing.
And I was a rambling, the first ever, I would say, rambling Chinese-American singer in Rome. However, he sings it in English.
Oh, that's brilliant. And then your swordmanship. You got into martial arts. How long did the training go on that?
I started martial art when I was very young, actually
Yeah.
from 13, 14 years old. And then when I went to the States, I studied karate, taekwondo, and aikido.
Yeah.
You know, in the span of the which lasts for 10, 20 years. But before I even learned aikido, I was already doing movies.
Yeah.
So everything I learned as a hobby became a skill for me to do these action movies.
That's amazing.
And the first action movie was definitely Big Trouble in Little China. And right after that, everything was history. The movie I did with Michelle Yeoh,
Yes.
it's called The Heroic Trio. I did not do any action on it, but
There we are.
this movie, by the way, is the blockbuster, I would call it, movie
Yeah,
that
it
was
is.
made in
It
Hong
is.
Kong in the 90s. And it grossed top 20 million USD in
Amazing.
Asia. Can you imagine what, 40 years ago, 30-some years ago, 20 million USD is almost 100 million USD today. And this movie was made back in 92 or 93.
That's amazing.
And just so you know, we're going to be doing a screening of this movie in London soon. And I hope to do a screening of Big Trouble and this together. And we call it the retrospective of James Pax.
Amazing.
And there's going to be Q&A. So we are looking at a theater for about 300 people. So 600 people are coming to watch the movie with me. And we're going to do Q&A after that. So I hope you will please reserve the seats and join us.
I'll keep you guys posted on that. I just want to say a massive thank you to James for coming to the UK. I also wanted to say one thing where my best friend was a big fan of your work and we grew up together on it. He passed away a couple of years ago and he would be so proud right now for me that I've got to actually meet a character from a movie that we adored. You're one of the Storms.
from the heavens above, we both send loads of love to you, man. So thank you so much again.
My love to you.
Really
as
appreciate
well.
that.
My love to you as well.
James, he's here. Lightning.
And you have to know this chap here is so helpful. He actually extended a invite to Jenny, my tour manager, you know, and talk about an interview. But Jenny knows that I'm so busy, I couldn't do it. So Jenny said, you know, you can come on the set to the Hawken and we might be able to do like a 10, 15-minute interview. And Jenny said, you know, if you like, you can help to promote the event.
I will do,
And
definitely.
he was so incredible. He put together all these video by himself and then he edited it with all the lightning shooting out from the eyes. And I said, oh, that looked good. Jenny, you know how to do that? We should do that without video. And Jenny hasn't figured it out until today when he told Jenny how to do it. Well,
No.
and thanks to him helping us to promote our appearance here at the Hawken,
Thank
I
you.
would like you to have one of these.
Oh, bless
pick and
you, man.
choose any one of them.
It's going to be lightning, of course.
There you go.
It's going to be, yeah, I'm definitely going to go for that one here. But no, thank you so much for that.
You're
And thank you for coming to the UK as well. And definitely with the screening, guys, once it's like confirmed and announced, I will let you guys know and definitely we'll come together and you guys come meet James. Honestly, he's absolutely awesome.
Let me shoot you some of my electric lightning power and you can come and meet me and I'll show you how to be a lightning warrior yourself.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you follow us on all our socials. You got X, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. And do subscribe to the YouTube channel for more of the long form content and the breaking news.
Also, guys, if you guys are on the commute, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. And there's some more videos for you guys to watch.